Firescape Engineers Inspector Summary Video. We're here in Washington, D.C. We have one of 4 fire escapes here that we just performed a confidence test on. At this time, the fire escape is not ready to be load tested, did not pass the confidence test, and needs to have spot repairs and then to be load tested, or it can be fully refurbished to avoid the load test. The code that we are dealing with is the authority having jurisdiction shall accept by load test or other evidence of strength. Currently, I cannot provide other evidence of strength to avoid the load test. This fire escape has nothing but original hardware. So 2 things we're going to deal with. Let's get the paint situation out of the way. It hasn't seen paint in a good 20 to 25 years, so it needs a full paint job. Because it's older than 1978, these fire escapes do have lead, and so you must have an EPA renovator's license to touch this fire escape so you don't contaminate the apartments, contaminate anything. So the lead must be an EPA renovator licensed person touching and painting the fire escape. Let's talk about the repairs. Repairs must be done by a permit and with a repair proposal that's provided by either fire escape engineers or a structural engineer. It's a report and guideline of exactly, specifically what you're going to do on this fire escape so that a permit may be pulled from that report to the city official. It's called an oversight report that needs to be generated for the city official. And that's the building department to pull a permit. This fire escape does need a building permit. So let's talk about what the issues are. All original hardware. Anything that's a square head bolt is original hardware, 50 to 75 years old. I'm looking for evidence of maintenance. I don't have any. I've got a lot of cement, spalling, and I do have some life safety issues on here that represent an emergency situation. So first, let's go. First thing you got to deal with, you can't, if this is a separate apartment, which I'm told it is, you can't have ACs in the window because you can't get out. You can have the ACs that are inside the apartment and have a hose or a tube that come out. So that's what you can have on these windows. Otherwise, this window must be free and unobstructed to get out in an emergency. So please write a letter to the apartment that says you cannot have an AC in this window. You can have an interior AC with a hose. You see this piece right here? That is actually broken through, and that one is fully rusted with a 1/2 inch of rust in. If anybody was to step on this right now, it would collapse and fall down 10 feet. So it's totally exposed. The bolt is gone here, and the bolt is broken, and it's already below the line. See, it's already gone here. This is a big chunk of cement that actually fell from the sill, from the fact that the sill, through freeze and thaw, has exploded and busted. So a lot of that is because of the excessive water getting into this. Sometimes it's even the water coming from this actual AC. Danger. This is an emergency situation right here. Okay. Going down the stairs, they've welded a lot of the treads. They've come in and done some patchwork, but that's the extent. You know, some minor patchwork here and there. You know, the rust stayed. They just kind of patched it, but year after year, this just all falls apart. The cement has gone into the wall, so this railing will not take a lateral load test. So this is no longer attached here and down below, and also in certain parts of the wall as I go down. Going down this hole, all these treads need to be cleaned and then rebolted, because they left the rust inside and they basically welded the tops, but it's insufficient. Any weld on a fire escape must be load tested or x-rayed, or if you rebolt it or reinforce it with a bolt, there's no load test. So let's go down to all these treads. All original hardware everywhere, and I'll show you as I go down some of the spalling and some of the cement issues. See, all that rust, all that rust, all that rust, and when you look underneath, original hardware. So every one of these treads is compromised. Every one of these treads must be rebolted. You got to cut through all this weld, clean out all the rust, put it back, and seal it with silicone, 50-year silicone. Again, nothing but original hardware everywhere. Some emergency treads down below. Look at this. You can see that the steel doesn't go in anymore. Got eaten away, or whatever used to be into the building is gone. And up there you can see openings. Openings. Big opening right there. Same thing applies over there. So about 75+%, if not 100% of all the supports are exposed. All original hardware on the on the supports here that needs to be changed out in order to avoid the load test. So otherwise, we can verify that there's no rust in any one of these connections, but then you have to load test the support after it's been properly repacked back into the building. Let's go continue down. Again, additional evidence of spalling on all these. This is ready to go. This one's already gone over there. These are all original hardware. All the tiebacks into the building, all exposed, all the cement is gone in here. So these rails will not hold a load test, a lateral load. Grading is standard bar grading. As you can see, there's been a shift in this bracket here that's holding the cantilever down below. We do have debris, and we can't have any of these debris. We can't have anything on the fire escape that would obstruct people, including the obstruction to the ladder upstairs. I wanted to get down below to show you what the bolts look like below on the ladder. Let's see if I can get it because of the sun. Okay. But again, all the bolts are gone. So even the ladder now is compromised. I don't know what this bar is doing here. This bar used to probably lift furniture up before. Again, we have a lot of the J's that used to hold the tubes, and everybody welded. Every one of these welds needs to be x-rayed or load tested, or if I put a hole through here and I put a bolt through to the other side, I can seal this up with silicone and use the bolt as my primary. Obstructions here. And the same issue that we have up above is the same issue we have down below here on this. This is another AC unit blocking access. This is another one where the bolts are all gone and the ones in the bolts in the back is compromised. Should somebody step on this, this is going to fall through. Now that's 25 feet to the ground. Lots of liability. Can't have these antennas here. Can't have any satellite dishes or antennas attached to any part of the fire escape. You have here, you can see where it goes into the wall. This one on the right goes into the wall. The one on the left relies on the one on the right, but it's gone. The bolt is gone right here. So this is ready to fall through. Going down, this fire escape, which needs a paint job, you can see rust in the stringer. Rust in the stringer. These bolts, all original hardware, need to come out. They came in here and they welded the top that was full of rust, so they never took out the rust. And there's no bolts down here anymore. They're gone. Okay? So this is typical. They left the rust in there, welded it, but as this rust grows year after year, it snaps all these welds. So every one of these treads has a life safety issue. I've got people that put bars in here and they weld the bar here to here. They left the rust inside. So quite a bit of work here. Look at all the previously welded connections. The welds are all snapped because the rust grew back in and ate the weld from the inside out, yet the bolt is still there. Okay? So life safety issue. If you go down there, you can see that bar goes in and out. This is me shaking the cantilever, which is not permanently affixed, so that's another life safety issue. You got holes. You can see that water's been getting into your building. You can see the rusty tears on that one going down the length of your building. So 100% of all the connections into the wall are opened at this time. All original hardware everywhere. Lead paint issue, so we have to have a renovator's license. All the supports are original square head bolts. And then we got this cantilever that's missing a release arm, because what happens when you come down this far, I'm supposed to push a release arm that lets that drop 2 to 3 feet per second. Otherwise, what I have to do, which I'm going to do now, I have to transition, turn, and come down gingerly and hold on to whatever I think I need to hold on to, step on this thing, step out here, wait for this ladder to go down by itself as I step on it. And this is with people behind me during an emergency, during fire. I have to make it hit the ground slowly and then transition. This is with children, and as you can imagine, this is very difficult as opposed to being in a down position when I get here, when I release it. So we need to balance the cantilever so that once released from above, it drops 2 to 3 feet per second and hits the ground and stays down. Okay, so here it is. The problem with this, as soon as I let go of this and the fireman arrives, this thing is going to be 12 feet off the ground. So unless a fireman has something to grab that, you know, it's not down at the ground so people can use it. So after every person gets off of this, it'll go back up into that position, and a fireman can no longer access this fire escape because the Fire escape cantilever is 12 feet off the ground. Okay, so any questions? All original hardware, needs a paint job, has emergencies on the platforms, welded connections everywhere with the rust still in the connection, and you can see that one ready to fall. So we have emergencies throughout this fire escape. We'll call this 1 of 4. Fire escape 1 of 4 has emergency repairs. Any questions? Fire escape engineers. 866-649-0333. This is Inspector Meneses. This fire escape does have emergencies, and a letter will be issued on that fact. Fire escape engineers inspect the summary video. This is a confidence test. We're here in Washington, D.C. And what we have is a fire escape that did not pass the confidence test, so we cannot proceed immediately to a load test or to a certification. The authority having jurisdiction is looking for either a load test or other evidence of strength, of which I cannot provide at this time. This fire escape also does have emergency repairs that need to be done down at the cantilever and on some of these treads. And I will now discuss some of the issues that need to be done, the next step. First thing, let's talk about paint. Fire escape is older than 1978, has not seen a paint job in probably 20 to 25 years, and it is got lead-based paint, so you must have an EPA renovator's license in order to touch this fire escape so that you don't contaminate the apartments or contaminate the ground. And anybody that has taken the EPA renovator's license course knows what to do exactly with this. So that's number one. Number two, you can't weld on this fire escape. A lot of the repairs that we're going to be doing on this is welded connections that used to be bolted connections that somebody. So we got to cut all those welds, but you cannot weld on anything that has a lead base. And the beauty about this fire escape is that it's all bolted connection to begin with, so it's just going to be a bolted repair. Number three, let's talk about the repairs. Repairs need a permit. And the next step that the city official is going to want, not fire prevention, but the building department wants, is a plan. A plan submitted either by fire escape engineers or a plan submitted by a structural engineer. And that will detail exactly what needs to be fixed on this fire escape in order to proceed to the next load test. So a spot repair and then a load test, or a repair report explaining what the procedures are going to be for a full refurbishment to avoid the load test. All this must be approved by the building department, and then a permit can be pulled off that plan. So now I'm about to walk through and tell you some of the things that don't make this pass right now a confidence test and getting it ready for a load test. First of all, I got evidence of rust in all the connections. So rust inside that connection, rust inside that connection, rust inside this connection, original hardware, cement problems into the building, original hardware, rust in the connection, original hardware, rust in the connection, cement spalling, all the rail tiebacks, all cement is spalling, they're not tied back properly, no lateral load test can be done. All the supports, original hardware. So I either got to load test that if they're in good to excellent condition, or I got to remove the bolts, change the bolts in refurbishment, and give it a certification to avoid the load test. Cement's all gone, pieces of wood strapped into this, we don't really know what these are for. 100% of the treads are all welded with the rust still in it, so 100% of all the rails, 100% of all the original hardware must go to get it to the certification and avoid the load test, or we can spot repair only the bad bolts, but then we have to perform a load test, 100 pounds per square foot. So that area there, which is 4x4, is going to generate 16 square feet. You're looking at 1,600 pounds of weight that I got to put on that for 30 minutes in order to load test. So the load testing is very expensive, very time consuming, but it doesn't buy any bolts, doesn't buy any paint. So let's go down the staircase and show you all the problems, and then I'll show you cement problems from down below. See if there's any ACs in the windows. No AC in the windows, okay? The stringer clips that hold up the entire staircase, full of rust and original hardware. Rust and original hardware. Change it out. All these treads were bad at one time, so somebody came in and welded it. Welded it, and as you can see, it's already eaten the weld. As you can see here, they put a piece of steel in here, welded at the top, welded at the bottom, but these are rusting from the inside out. So the rust stayed inside, and they never cleaned it out. So connections, original hardware, change the connection or load test it. Going down, you're gonna start looking underneath. You're gonna not like what you're gonna see underneath. Look at all those holes. The guy just came in here and look at all the bolts are missing. Okay, rust in the connection, bolts are missing. Rust in the connection, bolts are missing. Okay? Rust in the connection, bolts are missing. So right now, this tread and some of the treads up above are ready to fall. That one already fell. It's already dipping. So we have a life safety issue on this one, and it's tread related, plus the cantilever is pulling out of the building. I'll show you that in a minute. So 100% of all these treads, again, cement into the wall, gone. The grating needs a paint job. We got a lot of cracking. Let me show you some of the cement problems here. Huge cement problem right there, see? And through freeze and thaw, it gets rid of the cement, and then through ice jacking and rust jacking, it's exploding and it's destroying the sill. Open. That one down there is open. The ones below are open. And we've got cement problems into the back here. See? My finger. I can push all the cement out with my finger. So watch. I'm just keep digging with my finger. This is just a finger. Okay? Water's getting in here and it's destroying. So this fire escape is not properly attached to the building. We need to verify that. Otherwise we cannot load test it. If we load test this, it'll pull away from the building and have a bunch of junk on the ground. Some of these rails not properly attached. They could use another line or two to stop children from falling through. Let's go down one more. This cantilever, if I was to wiggle it, I'll go down and wiggle it. It's not even attached to the building in any way. So this has an emergency situation. Treads were all welded with the rust still in it. Okay? So, better shot of some of your tread problems, some of your emergencies. So, this fire escape is not to be used. There's the old lift that people used to use this to bring furniture up here. It's no longer used, but that's an old cast iron what do you call it, pulley system right there. Let me see if I can get it out of here so it doesn't hurt anybody. As you can see, I got it in my hand, and it's things like that that just fall to the ground and hurt somebody on the head down below. So I took it off, but that should be removed from the wall because that's just a danger for the people down below. Not in use, and the wind will blow it around and it'll finally just fall on somebody's head. Okay, going down, let's take a look at what's going on with these treads. 100% of these treads are welded, and they all are missing bolts also. The more critical is that the whole weight system on this is very flimsy and not properly attached. So I've got all this weight right now, and I'm supposed to have a release arm on this so that when I release it, it drops 2 to 3 feet per second, hits the ground and stays down. I'll show you what I have to do to make this thing go down. But right now I'm more concerned about the fact that I got a piece of steel that doesn't go into the building here, and it's not even attached anymore here. So this whole cantilever, if I wiggle it, and I don't want to wiggle it too much, it's pulling away from the wall and it's no longer attached. So the stabilizer for this big weight is not here. Cement problems, cement problems, cement problems there. So 100% of the building has cement problems, and we need to either repack these or put a new epoxy bolt or a new through bolt back into the building. Every one of these are original hardware, so these need to be load tested, or we can change these bolts out and that avoids the load test. Now this is what I have to do to come down. During an emergency, I have to come down and walk this cantilever, which is now horizontal. I have to come down, and the chain on the left is broken. I have to come down and gingerly walk out, and this is with people behind me, and this is with children. Now I know what to do, but the child wouldn't know how to do this, and so I have to keep walking out gingerly and holding on to pieces of this fire escape until this ladder hits the ground. The rail is very low, it's not standard rail, and I gotta wait till it hits the ground somewhere, and I've counteracted. I'm 225 pounds, and I'm still holding on. I gotta move a second. So the transition on this is horrible for a woman, a child, or anybody that's in a panic mode, and that's just half the problem. So I go down gingerly with people behind me during an emergency, and then when I hit the ground and I step off this thing, she wants to immediately start climbing and hit me on the tail. So I got to be careful, and let me show you what it wants to do. because I don't do it like this. I don't hold it. Usually I get off and I run away, and if this thing doesn't scratch my back on its way up, so it would go from here and it'll automatically do this. See that? Now, as firemen now, it's 12 feet up in the ground. Firemen can't get to this thing, and the people who are coming down, now the next one takes a turn. Could be a child, could be a woman, could be somebody with disabilities. So what we need is a release arm here, that at the top of the stairs you release it, the arm down below releases this thing is perfectly balanced, it'll hit the ground and stay down and drop at 2 to 3 feet per second. That release arm is also an anti-theft device. Nobody can break in the way I just did. They have to release it from above in order to climb up this fire escape. Okay, any questions? Fire escape engineers, inspector summary video. The fire escape did not pass the confidence test, cannot be load tested at this time, cannot be certified at this time. 866-649-0333. 866-649-0333.